Greetings and welcome to Flavourful Eats. Today we are preparing chai and snacks. Joining me today is Nita Desai from Sharon. Welcome, Nita.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here, Hamsha.
Oh, I'm so glad to have you. And she was born and brought up in Bombay, India, and went to South Africa for a little while.
16 years.
For 16 years you were in South Africa. Fantastic. She is an educator, a scholar for life, enjoys learning and being challenged, actively involved in community organizations, promoting tolerance, faith, and literacy. And currently you teach at Northeastern?
Yes, I do. I love it.
I'm sure the children love it.
I don't know about that one.
You do research writing,
Yes.
advanced communication strategies, and reading and writing courses. An expert at designing curriculum, and have worked improving different district curriculum in America. She was a vice principal for a non-profit school, Shisha Bharati, everybody knows that one, educating students in Indian history, language and culture for 5 years. Nita is interested in interfaith, spirituality and discovering meaning of life. In South Africa, she ran and produced a radio show called Radio Lotus with a program called Gitanjali. And she previously taught in India, in college, and also in Durban, South Africa. And currently married with 2 children.
Yes.
And very interestingly, you have
A son who's interested in chai.
so it's called?
It's called BostonChaiParty.com.
Oh,
And
see?
he makes chai, and he does a frozen one too now. He makes his own spices. It's all organic, wholesome, and natural.
Well, that's without messing too much of a time. Let us get started. What are we doing first?
We are going to start with our vegetarian puffs that we're going to make. And for that, we need the stuffing. So there's a little slight twist to the Indian style of puffs. Because we come from South Africa, we have that little different touch over here. And some of the masalas that I'm going to be using, one of them in particular is also South African. So I'm going to heat up the oil over here. As you can see, I've already put in about 2 tablespoons of oil.
Right. So talking about South Africa, this is quite a favorite snack for tea.
Exactly.
Yes.
And we stuff it even with moong dal.
Yes.
And you can stuff it with anything you like. So if you're a meat eater, or if you like keema or mutton, you can use that. You can only make it with potatoes, and you can add a little bit of cheese, spinach, whatever takes your fancy or your family's fancy, and just enjoy it.
Just spinach and feta also. Just about
Yeah,
anything.
that's a great
Right.
combination.
So while the oil is now nice and hot.
I think it is hot. And we have this convection oven, so it was going to be even...
Induction stove, yes.
Oh, it's an induction stove, excuse me. And I just add a little bit of mustard seeds, so I know how hot the oil is.
Yes.
And I add a little bit of jeera in it.
There you
so a seed gets it splutters.
So it's
Maybe
hot.
there's a drop of water in there. And then we add in the onion immediately after that.
So you kind of roughly chopped up by one onion.
Yeah, just
And,
about in a medium-sized onion.
And for this particular one, we tend to use a lot of onions.
Lot of onions. I love that. It's a little bit extra if you look at it properly.
Yeah.
And did you know that some people have an actual phobia towards garlic and onions? They don't like it. And I heard there's a special term for it too.
Oh, is it? What is the term?
I think it's called allotropia, or something to do with aluminium trop. I don't think I'm pronouncing it correctly. I may have to check it up again.
Yes.
It was very difficult to find that word. But I was wondering why people don't like garlic.
But then again, in some religious societies, you're not supposed to have onion and garlic too.
Actually, in our community too.
Yes.
Like my husband initially did not like all this. In fact, my mother-in-law wouldn't cook with onions and garlic. But now that we know that it's so healthy.
Well, they say there's 2 sides of every coin.
True.
So some things are not, yes, they have their reasons.
Anybody's watching their weight, 30 calories in a small onion.
Then
And it has no fat. It is considered to be the most, what shall we call it? The most versatile kind of vegetable. And it can really help with all health issues.
And helps with bringing flavor.
Correct.
So it's almost any dish you can add.
It just adds that little flavor. And the sweetishness also comes from there.
Yes, because sometimes it can be bitter from the other spices, and this brings out
This
the
just
sweet
brings out
without the sugar.
Exactly.
Some dishes ask for sugar.
Yes.
So instead of sugar,
I think we're going to just make it a little less, so that we can add our garlic. And whenever you add garlic to I'm going to add garlic soon, you should not put the garlic in for too long.
Yes, it'll get bitter.
It gets burnt and it's not healthy anymore.
That's also there. Yeah.
So it's not really beneficial. And if you really want the benefit of garlic, then you should use it as quickly as you can before you add in your veggies. So I'm going to take about a teaspoon of garlic.
And the good thing about garlic is this is a good way of getting the nutrients out by adding it.
Exactly, by adding it.
Yes,
and then I've already got ginger in mine.
Oh, okay.
So it's already
ginger
ground,
garlic paste.
ginger garlic. And another quick tip is I put my ginger garlic, if I make extra, into ice cubes and I store them in plastic Ziplocs. So it saves space in the freezer also.
Or you can buy very flat boxes if you save
Yes, whichever ones you prefer.
Yes.
And
now it's too low for you, right?
Yeah. So we're going to just wait for it to kind of give off the aroma. I wish we can have smell vision, as they call it. And after you put this in and you get that little aroma, and it takes 2 minutes, you can just add in your veggies. I've just taken a cup of frozen vegetables, a mixed one. And they say frozen vegetables are not bad. In fact, they retain more of the vitamins than other vegetables that have gone through the whole mill.
Apparently because
of being stored and
it's been cut immediately.
Exactly.
And then well, I'm sure vitamin C and things like that are going to get lost anyway. So.
Sometimes it does get lost.
Yeah.
And when we overcook the vegetables too, that happens.
So did you steam your potatoes first?
You can steam it if you're in a hurry.
Yeah.
You can even steam this at times when I've got people waiting for lunch or food, and I have boys.
Right.
And they cannot wait. So I pre-steam everything and then I put it in.
But for this show today, did you
No, I'm doing it right from scratch.
Okay.
So that you can get an idea as to how it should be done originally.
Right. Okay.
And of course, there are quicker methods to do it. Yeah. And at the end, I'm going to add a little bit of baked beans to include the Boston aspect. A little bit of tomato sauce or paste or grated tomatoes so that the skin doesn't come in your mouth. And lastly, I'm going to add a little bit of green chilies. Even this is very good for you.
So how come you're adding the green chilies in the end?
Because I don't want it to really absorb too much of that flavor. I want the veggies to cook a little bit, and then I will add that.
Okay, I was
you
going to
can
ask
even add it now, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric.
The power food.
Yes.
And for it to work best, it's good to have some kind of pepper and oil.
Exactly.
So you're using
I have the oil there.
And that's the pepper.
And I'm going to put, red chili powder actually. And this is a coriander and dhania, jeera powder. That's
so
cumin.
Cumin and coriander.
The one that I will add right now is the South African masala.
Oh.
It's a great, we get it from Osman's.
Oh, okay.
And it's a hot curry powder.
Okay.
And it really tastes great. It gives it a different taste. If you use the ordinary masala that you get in stores nowadays, it gives it a very different Punjabi kind of flavor. Right. Whereas this seems a little bit different.
And it gives you South African flavor.
Yes, according to my family. My boys still remember this and how we used to have it with tea.
Yeah.
So I like to keep to the original style. I'm going to cover it for a little bit, and I'm going to add a little bit of water.
So you should be importing some of them from South Africa.
I sometimes get it from friends or family, and sometimes I'm going to put in the chili now, the green chilies. I just put in less because I don't want to make it too hot.
Right. So you're adding a little bit of water?
A little bit of water since I didn't steam it. Thank you so much. Thank you. And while it's cooking, I'm going to add a little bit of salt. They say salt is supposed to be added later, isn't it? What do you do when you cook, Hamsha?
Like this.
I do it this way too.
Yeah, some things you do add right in the end.
Yes.
But most things I do it this way, yes.
So we wait
so
for this
we leave that to cook, and then we go on to our next fantastic dish. So now you're making a very interesting Gujarati snack
Yes.
with a twist.
Little twist.
So you want to get started while you're starting, while
Yes.
you're working, you can
So
tell us what you're doing.
I have 1 cup of corn meal, not corn flour.
Yes.
And then
there's a difference between corn flour and corn meal.
Yes, the
this
flour
is a little bit rough.
is a bit finer.
Yes,
and
this
you
is
want
rough.
something rough. And if you don't have corn flour, you can replace it with rava,
Farina or semolina.
semolina.
And this is regular wheat flour.
This is just whole wheat regular flour.
Right.
And this is the chickpea flour we use. It's called besan or gram flour. All of this is 1 cup. This is a 1 cup recipe. No one can ruin this.
Okay.
No one can. And to this, you add 1 cup of yogurt. I've already measured it. So we're going to add this 1 cup of yogurt. And to leave this here. There is 1 cup of milk.
So you're adding yogurt and milk. I guess
Yes.
this is an eggless recipe, so the
Eggless.
yogurt will
No eggs, no-
yogurt will
Help it.
Yes,
Exactly. And I'm going to put about, this is about a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to put 3/4 cups. I can put all of it too. It's supposed to be 1 cup of it.
Then they put one. This is
Just,
1 cup.
we'll just put 1 cup. And this is sweet corn,
Cream style corn. You can actually make, for those that are wanting to have organic, non-GMO corn, you can
Correct.
actually make the cream style at home. Because
Exactly.
right now I don't find the organic version
Exactly.
in the stores.
So we can always make this at home by just mixing up this
Yes.
corn, and
Yes.
don't even need to add anything else to it actually. I like it without any other things in it. And before I add that, I'm going to add my
Onions.
again.
Finely chopped onion. Another 1 cup?
Finely chopped. And
So that's
it's
another
1
cup.
cup. Everything is 1 cup. I've got cilantro, which is finely chopped too.
Also 1 cup.
Yes. And this, I'm not sure if everybody sees this in the grocer, but this is the methi or the mustard herbs.
No, fenugreek.
Fenugreek?
Yes, fenugreek. Mustard herbs is a little
Different,
very,
right?
very
So
different.
this is more
This is fenugreek herbs.
And you get them a lot in summer, but you don't get them after that.
No.
So it's a rare thing. So I keep it. And this
And
is...
you can buy it from the freezer. I think you bought yours from the freezer?
No, I made it at home.
you
I
got
just
fresh.
freeze it.
Yes, that's what I
Freeze
meant.
it
You
myself.
have it frozen. Yes.
And then I use some shallots, green onions.
Green onions. Yeah, it's
Not
called
shallots, green onions.
Yes. We call it shallots in South Africa.
Yeah, it's so
pardon us for
different,
that.
right?
Yes.
Even our mandarins are called
Clementine.
clementines, and in India it's called something else. India it's called orange for a clementine. So it's very different.
So again, ginger and garlic paste?
Again, ginger and garlic paste.
Any one of these ingredients can be omitted, like ginger and garlic.
Yes, if you don't eat it, or
you-
if you're praying on a particular day, you can omit this.
Right.
And then I'm going to do the same thing with my green chilies. I'm going to add
Again,
a
you don't
nice
need to add green
sizable-
chilies.
Yes, if you don't want to, you can replace it with red chilies too.
Oh, no, you don't even have to have it all together.
Oh, maybe you don't want it. Yeah,
Yes.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And I'm now going to add my oil. I'm going
1
to
cup oil again.
Yes, and we are going to just lightly grease that tray in which we are going to bake this. This is going to bake at 350.
The moderate oven.
Yes, I actually start off with 400
Okay.
and then reduce
After
it after
15
10,
minutes,
15
minutes,
minutes.
right.
So that helps a lot. It helps tremendously.
It definitely would.
To help it to get kind of rise. And now you add your baking powder. Now this may seem shocking to some of you, but remember this has got no eggs in it, so it requires level teaspoons, about 5 of them.
But you also have other ingredients there.
Yes.
You have 3 cups of different flours.
Exactly.
And then you have the other ingredients that's going to be.
Yes.
Can I ask
Yes,
you to just
absolutely.
check
Now this is cooked nearly. It needs a little bit more. Just the potatoes need to get done.
that out? So can I give a little more water? Or is
Yes,
it
a
fine?
little bit more. And while that is getting done, I'm going to add my baked beans. Now you can even skip the baked beans. You don't have to add it.
But this just adds a little more
It just gives
protein,
it a little bit
more
of protein, and it helps to kind of bind it together too in a way. And I'm going to add my tomato. You can have
So
it
if
in
you're adding a tomato, is it just 1 tomato?
Yes, just one.
Okay.
And then I'm going to mix it up and wait for it to kind of get together and mix well.
Mix very well.
Yes, I keep it on for a little bit longer so that it can, and we don't want it to be liquid, you know?
No.
So it has to kind of cook in the juices. Now here we're just going to simply mix it. We've added in our mixture all in one bowl. That's another thing I like, Hamsha, that we can
all
just
in one
everything
bowl.
in one. You don't need another
Right.
another plate or any other bowl. And I'm just going to lightly grease that.
So Nita, this looks like it's cooked.
It
so
is.
I will turn this into the pan to
Fantastic.
get cool.
Thanks for
to
your
cool
help.
it down.
I'm going to stir this and I'm going to add it to my baking sheet. I have a tray here. I've already lined it with parchment paper. I always, even then, still grease it a little bit just in case.
Can
And
never tell.
Never can tell. So we mix this pretty well. And you know what? I need to taste this because we need to see if the salt is, you know,
Enough.
enough. And I think we need a little bit of salt.
So you're a good cook.
Yes, we need a little bit of salt though.
Okay.
So I'm just going to get some. My oven is hot already.
Yes.
So I'm going to just add the salt. You need to salt it properly because there's actually quite a bit of, we call this handwo in Gujarat. It comes from the west part of India. And it's a very hearty meal, actually. You can even make it into a meal
Oh, yes,
by
for
adding
sure.
some zucchini to it or a carrot.
Even if you don't add all of that, you already got the methi and the
I
corn.
know, it's really good.
Yes.
And it really can be had with tea, you know, with chai like we are having it. It's an ideal
An
accompaniment.
appetizer.
Exactly. If you're
A meal in
expecting
one. You
some-
have your protein with your chickpea flour.
Correct.
And
I've got it mixed very well.
right.
And this is a surefire thing. It's not going to, I've perfected this recipe, I think, because
Because this is not the traditional way of doing
yes,
this, right?
yeah, the traditional way you ferment it.
Right, right.
And since we haven't fermented it, I use that yogurt.
Right.
Then I use the baking powder to make sure that it rises too. So we are all done with this.
So with the fermentation process, what do you do? What do you add to it?
Nothing. You just
The same ingredients, you just leave
same,
it to...
you just grind the dal though.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. You use, I'm sure it's sometimes urad dal,
Yeah, no. We use gram dal.
gram dal. Okay, gram.
And we put a little bit of other dals too.
Right,
And a
okay.
little bit of rice in it. So that, you
So
know,
see,
gives
this
it a
is
little...
a batter. It's not, it's like almost like a cake
It's
batter.
a cake batter.
Right,
Just
yeah.
imagine you're making a cake that is savory.
A savory cake, yes. I actually
Exactly.
call it, I call it bhaji cake.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I know
In South Africa, they call it a lagan.
Lagan, yes, lagan, yeah. So we
Thanks.
just bake this for half an hour, 45 minutes?
We put it for 45 minutes.
45
I think
minutes.
1 hour is ideal.
Okay.
I like it for a nice
All right.
brown
Well,
base.
with the magic of TV.
The magic of TV.
We're gonna
I've
bring-
already made one since it's going to take an hour.
Okay, what you've forgotten to do is sprinkle some sesame seeds on this.
Yes, we need to
So
put that.
before it goes in the oven, we sprinkle some sesame seeds.
I already have one here.
So like a tablespoon of sesame seed. Look at me using my hand.
Exactly. That's excellent. It looks pretty. It's okay. You know, this is what happens when you're in the kitchen.
Lesson learned here. Take out the tablespoon instead of trying to use the whole thing.
I'm also going to start the tea, Hamsha.
Yes. go
And
ahead.
chai is a special thing. And for chai, I'm going to use 50% water and 50% milk. Or 60-40. Today we're going to do 60-40.
Ah, you have more people to drink your chai, right?
Yes. This is going to be very traditional. So I'm going to put in some fresh ginger. I hope you like ginger.
Yes.
You're going to
and-
share this tea with me. And I wish I had mint also, but
Oh, I have tons in my garden. Not helpful now.
true. I'm going to put in some mint. It depends on how much you like it. So I'm just going to go and
What is that?
plate by hand.
Oh,
It's
you
mint.
have,
Yes.
okay.
I've got this dried at home myself.
Oh, okay.
So I keep it.
So like a teaspoon of dried mint?
Yes, a
Okay.
teaspoon of that. And then I have my homemade masala.
Which we can, if anybody wants, send a message to flavorfuleats@gmail.com and you'll get it
And
to make a big quantity of it.
I make a big quantity and keep, and then I have it in a smaller container so that I can use it whenever I need it. I'm going to go a little liberal with it since we are making a lot of tea.
You're making like 3 or 4 cups today?
Yes, so I'm
Okay.
putting at least 2 teaspoons
2
full.
teaspoons. So
Yeah.
half a teaspoon for every cup?
Yes, kind of. A
So
little
you
less.
basically put it in the boiling. I normally add mine in the end. I didn't realize I could do
No,
it in
you
the
must
beginning.
boil it with the tea.
So this is
and
a
the milk.
traditional Indian chai.
Traditional Indian chai.
Chai is actually means spice.
The spice is the one that, and it's not spice, the one that gives you the heat. It's a flavor. It's like got cinnamon. It's got cardamom.
A different type of heat.
Different type of heat, which is good for you.
Yes.
It's refreshing
well-
and very nutritious too.
Well, all heat is always good, right? It's good metabolism. And all this,
Exactly,
the other,
exactly.
But, yes. And the
So-
good thing about cinnamon for people with diabetes and all is actually
That is excellent for them.
Yes.
And if you have sugar, you can add it now. If you don't have sugar and you've got people who have different tastes,
I
then
would
you can
rather
add it
today
later.
you don't add sugar because we don't know
We have-
everybody's taste.
Yes. So we're going to cover it so that it gets done faster.
Okay.
Do you know today is Navratri? So things have really come together a lot. And we are going to present this to the goddesses. I hope Parvati and Saraswati accept
Oh, yes.
our
Your humble offerings.
offerings. I'm going to work on my puff pastry since our
Okay.
veggies are already cooling.
So
that
you're going to
we
work
made.
right here.
And I wanted to show you how this looks after it is baked too, the lagan.
Lagan, yes.
Just for a quick second. And we can put it in a little tray and you can serve it for your guest. So Hamsha, this is a rather dense one because I have put in the batter, the entire batter. But when you taste it, it's really soft.
Oh, even though it looks so dense.
It looks a little dense. It'll be very soft.
Okay.
And you can have this with your tea. You can serve it how you like it. And we're not going to cover this. I've learnt it, my lesson.
Well,
I'm
I
going to
got it
add
lower
my
now.
tea leaves. I'm going to
Here's
use...
your teaspoon right here.
Right, thank you.
Excuse my reach.
And I'm going to make sure that this tea is going to get done.
So
in
you
the
add three
next
teaspoons.
3 teaspoons because I kind of roughly put in 3 cups.
3 cups, okay.
But we may have lost a little bit of tea.
So you want to add more milk or water?
Milk would be nice. Let me get some. Thanks.
Okay, so that's going to be boiling in no time.
Right, and I'm just going to, you need to roll this pastry since it's very, very soft and buttery and it puffs up a lot. So just go about another couple more inches on the top here and down here so that you are an expert at pastry, I've heard. I would love to learn how to make them. I just get the store-bought ones. There are different shapes you can make them into. You don't necessarily have to make them into triangles. I even make sometimes rectangles or put it into round pie.
Yes, you can make it like a pot pie.
Yes, we used to love that. So the pot pies are a favorite amongst the boys
I'm sure.
or anybody else. So let's do a little smaller one of this and then I'll do a few square ones with triangles.
So make sure that this the
thing
curry
is
is
nice and-
absolutely cold.
It's important.
It's very, very important.
So here's a square one I'm going to do. Very easy. I don't even put in I put in a little bit too much. Try and put in about a tablespoon and a little less. And since we're making it into a triangle, get your 3 edges done. And if you put a little less, it's much
easier
better
to
and easier.
work.
So this is not a good one. This is our first attempt. Let's try another one, and we're going to do a triangular one this time. This is
This
much
is a
easier.
triangle. You mean,
I mean, we're doing a rectangular one. I think I'm forgetting my shapes.
Well, English, not math.
It goes very fast once
I
you...
normally just put a little fork and make a
Yes,
little
I do that too, actually.
Just to make it a little pretty, I guess.
Yes, it does look prettier when you do that. And we'll do one of those, or a couple of those, so that you know how it looks. So if you do this, it looks so pretty.
So much prettier for sure.
Absolutely. The first one we're not even going to try, but we can try with the rest. You can do that even to this shape. And remember, pastry has to be cold, otherwise it starts spreading and it's very difficult to stuff.
That's true.
So we need to work with it very quickly and efficiently.
Work on the sides first.
Yes. So we'll do a few, and at least we'll make one part of it.
Right.
It's nice to put a little extra, but at the same time it should not look, because remember, puff pastry like kind of
Yes, and it
puffs,
feels empty after
and then
this.
it feels empty when you start eating it. Right.
Shall I put this for 20 minutes and we can do this rest?
Yes, let's do that.
Ah, okay.
And
So while this is baking for 20 minutes, we can get that over and done.
okay. And my tea is also boiling very nicely.
Ah.
And this is chai, everybody. It's so special. And there you have chai and handwo and our puff pastries that are getting ready.
Coming just now.
So I'm now going to put it into the little kettle or a teapot.
I think we can do it.
You
this
can do
way.
it now?
I think so.
Okay.
So Nita, you did such a good job with the puffs. I see it's all ready, nice and puffed up, and it's ready. So you're going to explain exactly your cooking.
So what I did was, I really didn't put any milk on top, because see how nice and brown it becomes anyway naturally.
Yes.
So I just didn't want to really bother with it. So I'm going to try and now show you how pretty it can look. I'm going to put all the ones that we did in triangular ones over here, and see how nice they look.
Yes.
It's very, very appetizing. And then the rectangular ones, we can put it here. And we have two guys who are ready to taste.
Taste, yes.
To see where the proof lies in the what?
Pudding.
In the pudding.
But this case is the puffs.
We are trying to see if the puffs are as good as they look.
Exactly.
So let's see. We can give you guys. So which one do you want it in? This one is for you.
Okay.
I hope you enjoy it.
So before you serve them now, this is
There's a
our
little
little puff pastry that we made
Correct.
today. This is the filling that we put. This is a little leftovers from the filling. So this is our filling that goes in there.
Right.
This is our
Handwo.
not
or
the
lagan.
long fermentation process.
No,
this
the quicker one.
So we heated some there, so you may want to serve them the heated one.
Right.
And then with this, you tend to serve a little chutney. And this is our chai.
That's our chai.
So you can give them to...
And I got a little bit, a taste of Bombay, and that's called a Bombay halwa.
Okay.
And that is a specialty. They sell it in little rectangles, and it's really, really unusual.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed tea today. And this is for you. And Hamsha, for you. You need to try.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hamsha, some puffs.
Okay.
You're going to have
We'll
one.
try some later as soon as we've done.
Okay.
So what is your verdict with this? And this is your beautiful cup of tea.
Thank you.
This is for you guys, right?
Yep.
And you ready?
Yes.
And thank you so much. I know you already tried the tea a couple of minutes ago. How was it?
It's divine. It's fantastic.
Very nice.
Very delicious.
Well, thank you, Nita.
A great
So
job.
nice. Thank you.
Yeah,
It was
so-
such a pleasure. Thank you, everyone,
of
especially
flavor.
Patrick, for doing our work and helping us with the camera and the backstage, kind
Well,
of.
thank you all. Thank you for watching Flavourful Eats. Any questions, you can write to flavorfuleats@gmail.com. And from our kitchen to yours, bye-bye till we meet
Thank
again.
you. Namaste.